Nice.
Is it just an art book or are there comics in there?
Yeah, it's just an art book. All these drawings. Some of these are like classic, like Matt Fiore, like these old Terminator ones. I remember these.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Huh.
Nice, soft, plush book. It's a beautiful book, man. Very graphic.
Yeah.
What's this? Mad magazine, like everyone else, you know, like Mad and like old Marvel comics. You know, I had like older brothers who were into that kind of thing, like Marvel and Death of Superman around that time.
Yeah.
You know, started out like with that kind of stuff, and like Mad magazine, Archie comics, and I guess yeah, sort of like I don't know, just. Sorry, man. I'm really nervous, man. This is like the last one where you're talking to Jim Rugg, and you're talking about like when artists, like young artists, are afraid to like show their work or like asking for money. That's what you guys are talking about. Yeah, trying to get paid for your work. Yeah, it's difficult.
It's a real pain.
The opposite of that is like if you try to give your work to people, like they don't want it. You know, they're like, this is worthless. You know, or like it's free. You know. That's what I found, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just sort of like being on campus. That was really my community of like, that's the other thing. Like, if you go to art school, you have like a community of artists. You get like feedback from like your peers or whatever. You have peers or you have like a community of like people you're interacting with. Like, my community of people is just like a bunch of other artists on Instagram, you know? I'm like, I don't really know how to like interact with them. Or like, I'm asking other people who are like in the same sort of place as me to like give me money for doing the same thing that they're doing. I don't really know how to build an audience or like, it's like a difficult thing to get into. I'm not really doing anything and like feeling inspired to like write comics about anything now. So I'm just like spinning my wheels, just drawing the same comic over and over. I have like this 3-page comic I've drawn like, I don't know, 6 times, just sitting on the drawing board. Trying to get it right. I don't have any deadlines. It's like this one here. It's like a Battle of Boxcar Alley. It was like some friends and I like stole some bikes once, like at the mall, and then we got into a fight with these kids who like found us. We'd stolen their bikes, and then they stole their bikes back from us. And then one of my friends like punked out and like called the cops. It turns out like these kids were like related to the cops. Like one of their dads was like a really bad day, you know. So they like stole some bikes and then got our asses beat and then like got the cops called on us.
Where was that, in Connecticut?
That was on Long Island. I grew up on Long Island. Long Island is like red-lined, like a very like segregated kind of suburb, you know. There's still like black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods, you know. But there was at the time, I guess the early 90s.
Yeah, so in the early 90s, you were going up to Long Island, like fighting with the children of cops?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, Long Island, trying to like figure it out, trying to be punk, you know, in like the black neighborhood, when like no one else is like being punk, you know. The sort of era of comics I came up with is like sort of around when Desert Island opened up. That was like really when my world of like comics opened up. Around then, I was reading like I was still into Brandon Graham. I was reading his stuff like King City. And then Michael DeForge was like really big around that time. You remember he was like putting out a bunch of like little zines. And that guy Alex Schubert, he was putting out a bunch of zines at that time, like
Bobby Boys.
Yeah, Bobby Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to be a part of this world. I want to be on the other side of the table, you know.
That's when like Vice.com was really big, like for comics.
Vice. I sent them like a submission, like sent like a cold email. The dude was doing like comics page, you know.
Yeah,
I sent him a cold email like, hey man, I want to like take your job, you know. I want to be like, And he was just like not cool about it. Like, don't try to take my job. Like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, I look up to you, you know. I'm like,
fuck you then, man.
But his name's like on everything like that was coming out around the time. So I'm like, if this guy like shot me down, I don't really have a chance. I need to just like lay low for a while or something. I sort of had like just like a meltdown. I'm like, I need to like make comics, or like I'm never gonna make comics. And then I started doing a thing on Instagram where I was like posting comics like every day. And I was like, yo, this is like my big thing. This is really gonna be it. And like I sent that out to everyone. I sent it was like Best American Comics. I sent one to like Drawn and Quarterly in Montreal. So I went to
Yeah.
Fantagraphics. I got like one rejection letter. I think it was from Eric Reynolds. It was like try like self-publishing, make some like mini comics and like see how that works out for you. But I'm like, yo, this is really gonna be it. Like I'm gonna take this thing and like send it out to everyone, and it's gonna change comics.
What was it that you made? Was it your comic series? Was it called Mange?
Oh, that one was just like a thing I was like printing out and like trying to hand out to people or like sell at like Zine Fest, But like the big one I did, that was like yesterday. I have it here. I was like that when I was doing like Instagram comics, like posting them on and posting them every day. It was also like a really beautiful story. It was like I still like met my wife like while we were in Brooklyn. I was like living in a friend's apartment, and then like I had to leave there, and my wife was like, you could stay in my mom's place in Dominican Republic. So I like moved out there after like it was wild. I just like went out there for 6 months and like lived in a little place and I don't know, walked to the beach and drew.
Is that book you just showed? Was that the thing that you is this a sketchbook? What is this?
No, I took a bookmaking class while I was in college.
Oh.
So I took all my sketchbooks and like put them together and like, cause like I'm like, yeah, I really want this published. Like no one's will publish it. Like I'll just make a book. It was a really great project. Like hand
that's awesome.
binding that thing. Like, yeah, like it was cool learning about books. 336 pages here, but it's also like one panel per page, so it's kind of like a cheat, I guess. Yeah.
So it's actually like a 24-page comic book.
Yeah. It's like, this is solid. You can hurt some more of this.
So what was the comic that you were sending to publishers at the time?
Yeah, I was sending them pieces of that. Like I was sending them just like one page at a time. Like, hey, like, can you like publish this? Like when I finish it. I didn't know. I didn't know like even how to get a rejection letter properly. But I'm like,
yeah. But I think that's pretty good advice though. That you just got to keep like publishing, like self-publishing your comics and like just go real hard at that. Comics publishers at this point, like they only want to work with artists who already have like an audience that they built up themselves. They're struggling to stay afloat. They want to work with artists and then sell to that artist's readers already. They don't want to have to build up an artist and find out where that artist belongs and stuff. Self-publish and like just hustle real hard, and then you kind of get on people's radars, and then that's when you go and talk to publishers. That's when you have to like build up value for yourself. You know what I mean?
It's hard when you get like so much silence in response to your work to feel like
I know, man. Trust me, man. Everybody fucking hated me. I mean, in the early issues of Blammo, like all the letters columns are just all the dismissals that I got from people. Yeah, and you can do it, man, because you're like a way better cartoonist than I was. Like, oh my god, you should see the dreck that I was drawing, man. Like, at least you have like a style of your own, and it's like stuff to say, and like you're like a mature guy. I was 22 years old or 23 or whatever, like with nothing. I was just drawing like Robert Crumb ripoffs and trying to get people to publish it.
Is that the stuff that's in the early issues of Blammo?
Oh yeah, it's so embarrassing, man. Nobody has them because like the people who bought them threw them away, obviously, and it's like all the
like printed paper. Like
I gave them away, and obviously like I don't know, people didn't want them, so they're gone, and so like now that's because I kept doing Blammo. Like now people want the old shit, but they can't get them anymore, so that's why we're gonna do the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Are you unemployed right now?
Yeah, pretty unemployed. Been unemployed, I guess since March when I was working on campus. I was like working a secretary job on campus. I was also volunteering in a prison. That was really cool. The guards were kind of scary because they were like so strict, but kind of used to that sort of thing. I mean, the inmates they were students at the time. Like they would go into this sort of like schoolhouse and then they're just students. So it was cool.
Yeah.
I remember the guy that was like selling me weed at the time. He told me like he was like this old guy. He was like really old, kind of like David Letterman with a beard. And he told me when he was in his 20s, he got locked up and like he did a little bit of classes and he remembered, learning about like weird shit there, Tolstoy or something. All right, if this guy remembers that like all this time later, maybe it like matters to do this. My parents were Muslim when I was growing up. they're like in the Nation of Islam, you know, like Black American Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was never like sort of introduced to it, but then out of nowhere they like converted to Christianity, and like we started going to church and like singing in the choir, being baptized. I don't know. I was always really like into religion. That's what I studied in college. I did like a double major. I did religious studies and drawing. My dream actually would be to do a project sort of like what you're doing with the Book of Mormon, or no, the Mormon Church and Joseph Smith. Like I found out about this group in Philly, Move. Like they're sort of like this back to nature kind of group that had like troubles with the police, and they ended up being like, I don't know, brutalized and bombed and incarcerated. Like crazy story. It happened in the 80s. I didn't even hear about it until I was like at college. I'm like, whoa, it's like a crazy story. Like, and nobody really talks about it. Like, it would be great to do comics about it and get people like talking, you know, get on people's radar or something. And I got like a grant from the school to like go out there and like meet these people, like talk to them, and like do some interviews. I was like really excited about like doing this kind of comic project. And I don't know, kind of like fizzled out. That was when I had like my I had like a personal like breakdown. Like came back to New York, and then went to the Dominican Republic. And then this guy Ben Passmore, you know, your black friend, that guy.
Yeah.
He like put out a project, like he put out like a couple snips of a project about Move, and he was like doing the project like I wanted to do, but like so much better than I could do it. I got like totally bummed about. Oh man, this is like.
Oh damn. That's
I know
like
it's
my
like really
worst
stupid
nightmare.
to do that to like, but can you imagine that? Like,
So that sucks, man. Ben Passmore, he stole your shit.
all right. I mean, like, you know, I'm sitting here like at the drawing board, like not, you know, like not even like drawing this project that's in my head, like, and then to see this guy just like doing it and doing it better, like, it's pretty frustrating. But
Where did he publish it?
I think it like got folded into a larger project that he's working on, like Black
Hmm.
Arms to Hold You Up, that project. It's being like on Instagram and like seeing people like do stuff and like interact with their public. It almost feels like I have a public that I'm interacting with, you know, like I feel like I'm like interacting with this kind of world of comics, but I'm just like in my head about it, like not sitting down, like just making comics. I don't know. I have like no deadlines. I have no real pressure to sort of like get them out.
So wait, do you print your mini comics, or are they only for like web? Like are they just like a PDF?
No, they got to be printed, man. Right? It's the printed matter that matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm really about that. And like right now, man, it's so frustrating. I have like a box like sitting in the closet of like all this stuff that I made, like planning for like this big, I don't know, onslaught of like distribution. Even while I was in undergrad, my thesis was for this year. I had like a big thesis show where I was gonna like get a bunch of my mini comics into people's hands. I wanted to do like a comics thing, but because it was like liberal arts university, like drawing major, like I had to do like all this other stuff. So I like made like a bunch of like paper mache heads and like a life size like cut out and like some wall drawings, like printed out some really big. But like the main thing was like my mini comics. I printed them out and I'm like, my comics are gonna go into people's hands, you know? Everything just got everything got canceled, you know? They're like, all right, instead of like the show that you're gonna have like a show in like the gallery space, like instead you have like 6 days to submit us like a PDF. I made like a 6-page comic, turn that in. It was pretty underwhelming. Really, it was really underwhelming. And like maybe for like the other kids who are like, this is like my undergrad show, like this is underwhelming. But like I went to the military like so I could go to college. Like this is my thing. Like, I'm gonna join up, go to art school. I actually make it to art school, but like I made it to school like studying art. And like in the end, I was just like was sitting on my parents' couch and like watching my graduation on my laptop next to my granddad. You know, it was cool, but like it wasn't it, man. Yeah, it feels like I'm sitting here like drawing on the drawing board and just like posting it to the void, you know. But like even then, I would still do it. I mean, I'm just like doing it for whatever reason. At the end of your service, you have to do like a bunch of courses about like going back to become a civilian and like how to handle your finances now that you're like a regular person again. And yeah, I spent that time in the library just like photocopying like loose leaf paper into like a Microsoft Word file. I didn't know how to use InDesign or anything. So like I had to print them out and like get which ones are upside down and backwards You know,
Like cutting and pasting or what?
yeah, or not, yeah, cutting and pasting, like folding,
Mhm.
taping, you know.
Did you draw as a
Yeah,
kid?
yeah. I can't imagine I can't remember a time when I wasn't drawing. You know, I remember drawing gargoyles, the Disney
Oh yeah,
gargoyle,
yeah, yeah. The Disney
Garfield,
stuff.
of course.
Yeah. Dude, Garfield stinks though, man.
I used to slap. I used to love some Garfield. You know, the
Yeah.
cartoon Garfield and Friends. Speaking of old cartoons, man, I found this book, this course, like a PDF course. You ever see this thing? The famous artist cartoon course. You know this thing?
No, what is that?
Oh man, this thing is so good, dude. It's like I found a PDF of it on someone's blog, and it's like all these old cartoonists like Rube Goldberg, Milt Caniff, Al Cap, you know.
Hmm.
And it's like
Oh yeah.
a course they had for like industry guys, sort of like a how to draw comics, but like it's like in depth. Like if you're like someone who's like a draftsman and you want to start drawing like cartoons now, it's really good. Yeah, like range of motion stuff and like
Whoa.
yeah, how to draw babes. They got like a commentary, like, and they have like some really like good practical stuff in here, like how to use like your tools, like ink tools. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I found this thing online. Actually, it was I saw you posted like a how to draw comics image one day on like your story or something. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
I should like find a good how to draw comics guide.
I want to do a residency at Gettysburg. That's where they have a residency on the battlefield. If you're like an artist, you can go and stay there and like work, and then it's like all haunted and shit. That would be awesome. That would be like a book in itself. Like having residency, like I could draw a Fonte Bukowski story about him, like having residency, like at a haunted, like battlefield or like in a haunted mansion. You know, you just have him like running around, like being chased by ghosts.
Oh
Like
man,
that could be a
yeah,
fun story.
yeah. What a book, man. What a book.
Oh,
What
I
a
know. Look at
book,
that.
dude.
It's like the Bible.
Yeah, it must feel good, man. Like, yeah, I love when your character shows up in here. Yeah, it's so great, man.
Thanks. I'm just like a
It's like a
total
background
asshole.
character.
Yeah, yeah. I had to make somebody who's like more unlikable than Fonte. And I was like, I'll just do myself. Tumblr was like the best for like discovering artists.
Yeah, I remember
Just
downloading or logging onto Tumblr like on like the morale computers like in Afghanistan to like look at my Tumblr feed, and I have to see like the occasional porn gif, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There were morale computers in Afghanistan you guys could use.
Yeah, we had like a tent with like satellite phones and like morale computers. You know, it'll be like 30 minutes of social media time or whatever. People like
Hmm.
line up. Yeah, you know what? It
Did
was like
anybody? Did people read comics there in the when you were there, like in Afghanistan, like the other soldiers and stuff? Like were they into it?
you know what? I started drawing like autobio comics when I was out there because like I had some free time between meals, you know, and like I would get a couple giggles from the other guys. I remember I drew one drawing of like my um, commanding officers and like bondage gear, like with each other. I called it chain of command. That was a pretty popular image.
Dude, I like the way you draw cars, man. Your cars are so funny, dude. Why are cars so difficult to draw?
They're impossible, man. Like, how do you do it?
Every time, man. It's like yeah, like I think the best way is to like trace a car or something. Like you gotta like find a
No,
car.
I think it was in Youth is Wasted. I saw that you just like pasted a car in one of your panels, dude.
Oh, that was in Fonte Bukowski. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I just like
man.
cut a
The
car out.
Ferrari.
Yeah. I was like, fuck this, dude. I can't. I got like one of those like little magazines that you see like on the corner for like people trying to sell their used cars. It was like this like little like catalog.
Oh, Auto Trader.
Yeah. And I just like took it home and like just cut out a car that looked good because it's real small and I drew those pages real small and I just like pasted it on the page.
I didn't even notice that the first time. I was like rereading it one time. I was like, oh my goodness, that's.
All right, man. I'll see you later.